Hi everyone, welcome to We Need the Moon. My name's Tracey and I'm here with Dee.
Hi.
And today we are excited to be doing our moon meditation, all based around the full moon in Virgo. So we will be guiding you through the full moon's energy in Virgo, what this means, talking a little bit about essential oils, a bit about crystals, tarot. I'll be doing a guided moon meditation for you. And we'll just get together and talk about what this moon energy means at this time based around Virgo. So Dee has some suggestions for you before we go into the meditation today. What list of essential oils and stones have you got for us, Dee?
We're going to give you these now before the meditation so that you have a chance to use any, grab any for the actual meditation. The aromas that we've got are which you might choose to use in your reed diffuser, oil burner, candles, etc. If you take moon baths, then maybe use some of your products in your moon bath. The aromas are clary sage, which is one of my favorite, cypress, lemon balm, and patchouli.
Ooh.
So, and just a little tip, lemon balm mixed with patchouli is really nice. So if patchouli and cypress, for example, are two earthy, strong flavors for you to have on their own, mixing them with like clary sage or lemon balm or something a bit lighter, citrusy, floral, can often make it much more bearable if you're not very keen on them on their own. In terms of crystals, some lovely ones. Citrine, calcite, peridot, and moonstone. So if you've got any of those, then grab them for the meditation. If you don't, or if other crystals, other scents are calling you more, if you feel more drawn to any of the others, then please go ahead. There's no right or wrong answer. Those are just some of our suggestions if you want a bit of a tip. So I'm going to pass over
nice
to...
mixture there, Dee.
Right? I know. They're such lovely ones. Moonstone's one of my favorite. And like I said, clary sage, I've only really started using it as an essential oil recently on its own because I never would have guessed that it smells so nice. But it's now one of my favorites.
Such a good happiness one and really good for anxiety.
Exactly.
And the key with this full moon in Virgo is that you may be feeling a bit anxious, a bit fidgety. So we're going to do grounding. So clary sage is perfect. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And a lot of those oils like patchouli as well, you're really woody kind of grounding tones there. Yeah. So they're really nice ones to have burning while we do this.
Fantastic.
Lovely.
Right. Well,
right, are we ready?
Yeah, I'm so excited.
So Virgo, I'm a moon sign Virgo. So you'd think that this would be a good time for me, but actually it's the opposite because full moon in Virgo might not sit that well. Virgo is an earth sign. It's stability, but it's also one of those super duper organized energies. So Virgos are the ones that have the to-do list. They're the signs that must feel in control. They may be clean freaks. They like things to feel organized, and chaos doesn't sit well. Team that up with a full moon where we all go a bit dreamy. We can be a bit relaxed, a little bit distant. Our brains can feel a bit clouded. And you may find yourself fighting this moon's energy if you don't ground and balance. It can make you feel a bit fidgety. It can make you feel like it's hard to stop because, like I say, Virgo are the to-do lists. They're the ones that want to get everything done. Yet full moon energy is telling you to stop and take that sacred pause. So if you don't do that and you force your way through this energy, then you will find yourself picking stuff up, putting it somewhere and losing it, walking into a room and forgetting what you're doing, fighting it. And then that comes to the signs of feeling a little bit anxious, a bit stressed, a little bit not yourself, a little bit, like I say, fidgety. So this is a tricky moon. So we're today going to do an exercise to kind of, when we're feeling this way, just take us back to feeling grounded and balanced and harmonious. Acknowledge we may be a bit anxious. Acknowledge that we may be a bit distant, feeling a bit creative. Let's see where we're at and have a bit of gratitude and reflection for wherever we are at this point. And today we are going to be doing it in a standing position. So first of all, I'd like you to find a place that is quiet, comfortable, warm, and away from distraction. Ideally, you can turn your phone off or digital devices. It doesn't have to be totally quiet, but a space where you're at ease and can concentrate on this grounding exercise we're about to do. Like I mentioned, we're going to be doing this in the tree pose in a standing position. Nothing fancy. You may lean up against the wall if you feel that you need support, but just stand in a comfortable pose with your palms pointing out in a relaxed state, focusing on the space ahead of you. Now, ideally, you'd like to take off your shoes for this exercise as well, possibly your socks if you're in a warm environment. And if you're lucky enough to have a wooden floor or a natural environment to stand on, I appreciate that we are not the warmest of months at the moment to go outside, but if you fancy it, it's always lovely to do a grounding exercise where your feet can touch a natural surface such as grass, wood, etc. Let's just get ourselves comfortable in this standing position. Feel your legs sit parallel to your hips, so there's no cross-leg pose here. There's no fancy balancing, standing on one leg or any complicated yoga going on. We're just standing naturally, feet parallel, hip width apart, our shoes and socks off as we feel the ground support us below and we stand in our natural pose. Open and supported by our body. And as we begin to relax into this meditation standing pose, I want us to just feel present in the moment that we are. Feel the air that surrounds us, the environment that we're in, the warmth that we feel or the cold. Let's feel present in our bodies and acknowledge ourselves. And as we take this pause, we may want to focus a little on our breathing to get that steady flow, that rhythm, as we relax into our exercise today. Taking a deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. As we breathe in and out, following our body's natural rhythm, and relax. Nothing's forced, nothing's stressed. We're letting our breath go when we need and inhaling when we need. Note your posture as you stand here today, present in this space. Are there any areas of tension you're feeling? Is your back straight? Are your shoulders hunched? Are there any areas of tension we may want to give a little wiggle and let go? Note your surroundings, but now start to bring that in and note yourself. So now I want to bring our focus to our feet and the ground beneath them as we feel the support of the earth underneath us and the weight of our body that it holds. Feel that support, note your weight. Are you leaning more on one side than the other? Are you equally balanced? And the floor beneath us which holds us. And when you're ready, let's close our eyes and just take a moment to feel this pose. And visualize energy coming up through our feet. A warm, earthly, grounding energy traveling up through our soles from the earth, up through our legs. It moves up through our body. Maybe a light, maybe tree roots, maybe branches. We feel this energy rise from our base, up through our legs, from the earth below, and travels through our center, up through our tummy, through our chest, through our heart, to our shoulders, divides and travels down our arms to our hands, and finally it travels up our neck to our heads, and then flows out through our crown into the universe and room surrounding. Relax and feel this energy rise from our roots, flowing freely through our bodies and out through our crown. Feel yourself just be. Take this moment to just be part of the room, the space around you. Be part of you. And just acknowledge this moment in time. And when you're ready and you feel you've grounded and received as much energy from the earth as you need, let's open our eyes again and gently just take a moment to focus again on our surroundings around us. Hopefully we're feeling more relaxed, more rooted, more grounded, and more just being in this moment as we move on to our second part of our journey today. And then gently moving from your standing pose, I now want you to move into a seated position. We want you to sit in an easy way, any way you choose, which is comfortable and familiar to you. For those who do yoga, this may be sitting cross-legged on the floor. It may be sitting in a chair. It may be sitting with your back leaning against the wall or a tree. Sukhasana, it's a Sanskrit yoga for sitting in an easy way, an open way, where you can just be for this moment of pause. And whilst we pause, I want you to note what you see around you. Note your space. Is it furniture? Books? Is it nature and trees? Do you have windows? What's the floor like beneath you? What are your surroundings today and where are you? Look up to the ceiling. Follow the walls of your room in every corner. Acknowledge this space. Look around you. And with the sights, you may also note sounds that you hear. Is there music? Is there a clock ticking? Is there a distant noise of people? Do you hear the hum of your fridge? Do you have silence? What sounds are in your room? Are there any smells you acknowledge and note today? Food cooking? Are you out with nature? Note these sights, these sounds, and these smells in the moment that you are right now. You are here, and this is your space. Take this moment to pause, to be, to note, and to feel. And when you're ready, give those toes a wiggle, shoulders a little shrug, as we engage our brains back on and we come back to the present living moment. Move yourself now to a comfy position where we can go through the next part of our journaling and guide to full moon in Virgo. Okay, and so when you're ready now, Dee's going to guide us through our full moon in Virgo moon guide sheet. I wanted us to do a grounding exercise today just to try and ground some of that Virgo fidgety energy. And whenever you're feeling a little bit distracted, a bit fidgety, battling against the moon's energy, which is full moon, try that exercise and see if it just takes you back to the moment of just being for a second. A good crystal to have for any grounding exercise is hematite. Really good for your root chakra. I always have it by my feet. I hold it when I have those moments of feeling a bit distracted. Full moon will do that. It will send you into a dreamy, sort of foggy, cloudy state. But for those of you that have listened to our standard podcast series, which describes full moon, that's perfectly normal to feel that way. And it's important to feel that way because it touches into your subconscious, creative, feminine energy. Virgo doesn't sit too well with relaxing and being dreamy because it's a to-doer. So let's use this time to try and find a way of grounding, being less fidgety and focusing on feeling the earth and just being for a moment.
It was such a lovely exercise. I mean, that's our first standing meditation, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, yeah, I think to do grounding exercises, it's important to feel the weight of your feet, right? We take our feet for granted. They support our whole body. And if you look at the human body of like how we balance and stand, it's amazing, really.
Yeah.
And the only way I find that I can feel the earth properly and understand that energy of the earth and really connect to it is in that standing tree pose, which for those of you who do yoga will know that that is probably most of the times the first pose you start in. to connect. Yoga is a really good exercise to do during this full moon in Virgo, again, for grounding. Meditation on its own may be a bit tricky to just get yourself into unless you're super, super in tune with getting yourself relaxed. But yoga's a good one for that fidgety energy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And to clear a bit of headspace. As Tracey said, I'm going to go through our info sheet for full moon in Virgo. These can all be found on our website. So to give a bit of an explanation, every full moon has a bit of a characteristic, which is it's flavored by the zodiac sign that it's in. This one, unfortunately, might leave you feeling a bit anxious. A tip for during this time is actually to do some service for others. So a bit of charity work, a bit of work in the community, because that helps with your perspective so much. There's nothing better for helping you understand how lucky you are and what you should and shouldn't be worrying about and focusing on than doing a bit of service for others in need. So that can help with your anxiety levels. We can sometimes, especially when our anxiety is up, Tracey and I are happy to talk about this because we do it. When your anxiety is up, you blow problems up a bit out of proportion, or you let them affect you far more than they should. And just doing a bit of service for others in need can really help ground you, remind you of how lucky you are, and put back into perspective what is important in life, as well as obviously doing some good for someone else. Have a little think about whether that's something that you want to get involved with at the moment.
We mentioned this before, didn't we, Dee, as well? Like with charity work, don't expect it to just come people to ask you. Sometimes you have to find a way of asking them, do you need help? In a polite way, like, can I do this for you? It's not a case of just sitting there waiting for these opportunities. You have to create them. And that's exactly the same with charity or giving. You have to find ways to give.
So now this is a really good time to reassess your dreams, again, thinking about perspective, and devise a realistic plan to achieve them. So probably since you last sat down and had a little think about what your actual real dreams are, probably a lot has changed. You know, the world has changed a lot in the last couple of years, as well as everyone's individual lives. So what are your dreams? Not what you think you should be dreaming, but what you really want to do. Think deep. And then think about a step-by-step plan on how you can start that dream. It's not just going to happen, is it?
No, you have to create. You do have to create.
Yeah. And you might actually be craving order right now. So it's a really good time to have a clear out, to rearrange your home or your workspace. We've talked about this before. Remember when you were a kid and you moved your furniture around in your bedroom and you felt like you had moved into a whole new room? And you're ready to start your new life with your bed on that wall and not that wall, right?
Yeah, it makes a huge difference in an organized environment. Yeah,
and just that change is a little bit like having a fresh mindset, isn't it?
And it focuses that fidgety energy on something.
Something productive, exactly.
Full moon in Virgo, don't do anything too complicated or too rash. No. But at the same time, you know, mundane tasks like cleaning, or I use it to do admin tasks, you know, those things that don't need a lot of mind control.
But that need to be done and that feel super productive and like you've made a big achievement once.
Yeah.
So now is a really good time to ask yourself a few questions. And these questions are, have I got realistic expectations of myself and of others?
Oh, that's always a good one.
It is a good one.
So hard on ourselves all the time.
Yeah, hard on ourselves, sometimes hard on other people when they don't act exactly as we want them to or exactly as we would. So it's a really good time to evaluate this. Again, the world has changed so much recently. People have changed.
When people say something to you, if you're in a negative mindset, or texting is the worst, or emails, because you can read it in your own tone, right? So you can read it in a happy tone, and it's taken in a happy context, or you read it in a grumpy tone. It's the context of how your mindset is. I had a message through today from someone that made me really angry, and the context of it isn't bad at all. Because of the negative mindset of my expectations of that person, I'd already programmed it to be meant in that way. Yeah.
I remember once getting into a bit of a headspin because I was writing an email for work and I ended it with take care. But suddenly I was like, does that sound like a threat? Like, you better take care.
How you read it, isn't it? It's funny.
When I open.
Yeah.
Exactly. We've talked about this as well. When you're annoyed with someone and even their breathing pisses you off.
Yeah.
So,
Or they looked at you funny, but all they did was just look at you, but it's the way they did it, but they didn't do anything. It's very funny how your mindset can make things seem what they're not. So resetting your expectations of
exactly
neutral ground is always good.
Second question, when was the last time you did some volunteer work? Again, it's a great way to be a useful member of society, but to get a bit more grounded, to reevaluate your perspective, and to feel gratitude for what you have. And number 3 is a question that comes up on most full moons and new moons. Am I practicing enough self-care? It's just always important. It's something we need to be asking ourselves all the time, because nothing else works unless you're looking after yourself.
Definitely. It's so important. Be careful on the full moon in Virgo energy that I find myself writing a to-do list, to do a to-do list, to do a to-do list.
Yeah.
You know, and it all becomes about lists. And then the element of doing self-care becomes more of a chore because it's on your to-do list, and a stress that if you haven't done it, then you failed. Or if you do it, then you're not enjoying it because you've got a massive to-do list. So don't get yourself stuck in that to-do list trap under this storm energy.
It's always good to have a little think about self-care. Self-care is such a broad term. It can mean anything from going for a run, taking a nap, doing nothing, watching TV, learning, whatever. It could be, it's such a broad range. If your self-care is starting to feel like a chore, or at this point in time, during the month, during the year, it feels like a chore or an obligation, then have a little think about whether you need to change the type of self-care you're doing. You may need to look at something else to relax yourself, to fulfill yourself, short term or longer term. Maybe your normal self-care is to go for a run, but maybe one day you have your period and you just feel like crap. And so on that day, allow your self-care to be to just sofa and listen to your favorite podcast with a cup of tea,
Sometimes self-care does come in those hidden forms, doesn't it, Dee? In our lunar planner, check it out on our website if you've not already seen it. We have a section daily for you to put in a self-care practice for you to tick in. Or, it says tick, I've achieved one element of self-care. We put that on your self-check for a daily thing. So it gets you thinking of like, oh, what did I do for my self-care today? And so far, I've managed to tick it every single day. It's only when you stop and think, what have I done today? You might find that you're already doing it. You're just not putting it in that box.
Or it's a good prompt to think, well, what can I do? Because I did exactly
what more can I do?
Affected organs. So
here we go.
Digestive system, which is funny because I associate digestive system and anxiety. I link those two very much together, don't we? We've all had the stress shits, haven't we, Tracey?
We do, all the time. Team that up with Virgo energy, you know, the anxious stress monster. Sorry, Virgos, you're not a stress monster. That's a bit of a mean description, but it is one of those energies that it just is a to-doer. Organized.
Digestive system, eyes and ears. So if you are taking part in this year-long full body MOT, then now's the time to have a little think about if you have any issues on those. Maybe you haven't had your eyes checked recently. You're supposed to do it every year, supposedly. Maybe it's time to book an appointment, get your eyes checked. Have you had some niggling stomach issues? Maybe you should go and check out with a doctor. So just have a little think about if you've got any issues going on with any of those. We already talked about aromas, but I'll repeat them. Clary sage, cypress, lemon balm, and patchouli.
Grounding.
Yeah. And that is because the element is earth, which is very grounding, dependable, nurturing, practical, definitely a very Virgo energy, and stable. The tarot suit that is linked to the earth element and Virgo is pentacles. So if you have a lot of pentacles coming up, or none at all in your readings, then have a little think about why that might be. Pentacles are associated with being dependable, industrious, cautious, diligent, and also material stability. We went through crystals, but citrine, calcite, peridot, and moonstone, very light, bright ones.
Peridot, I just learned this day, it's good for the heart chakra. Really good balancing for the heart because it's green and it's got that kind of cleansing, fresh look to it.
We give out an affirmation, a suggested affirmation that people can use or tweak or come up with their own for each full moon and each new moon. So this one is, I am patient and strong and grounded in goodness.
I like that. I like all of these affirmations.
I know, they're so good, aren't they?
Yeah.
This one's really good because, again, it's to counteract that fidgety, anxious feeling that might be coming up at this point in time. And just reminding us to be good, to be strong, to be patient. You know, we don't need to be doing all the time, and to just get back some of that grounded feeling. Numerology. Number 5 is an energy which is very grounded, rational, energetic, intellectual, creative, and unique. So if you're into your numbers, have a little look if this number is popping up for you a lot. It might be trying to remind you to be grounded during this full moon in Virgo. So yeah, that's full moon in Virgo. Hopefully you will take from this to keep yourself centered and balanced. Try to put that fidgety, anxious energy into being productive and good and doing good work, whatever that might mean to you. It's full moon, so think about taking a moon bath. Love a good moon bath. Put your crystals out to cleanse on your windowsill or outside if you can. Collect some moon water. Lots of fun activities you can do at a full moon. We list them all in our lunar planner, don't we? We'll see you at the next new moon.
Happy full moon, everyone. Take care. Bye.
If you enjoyed that and you want more from us, why don't you head over to our Patreon page, patreon.com/We Knew the Moon, and check out some bonus content.
Also, if you want to stay up to date, you can follow us on our Facebook page at we.knew.the.moon. If you could leave us a review on our Facebook page, that would mean a lot.
Our Instagram handle is the same as our Facebook, at we.knew.the.moon. We're on Twitter at We Knew the Moon 1, and we are also on Pinterest. Just search for We Knew the Moon.
Finally, if you want lots more fun, moon info, and all things spiritual, plus our lovely shop, please visit our website, wenewthemoon.co.uk.